Hey, what's up, guys? So Bitcoin slammed up against that Q2 anchor, and we got met with some harsh resistance. Got a short scalp playing out. I'm gonna do my best to figure out how far down it can go. We're gonna look at the other charts, and hopefully it'll be a good stream. So go ahead and pour in, and yeah, let's make it a good one here. Let me do my post. I'll be right back. Go ahead and pour in. Yo. What's up, everybody? What's up? Let me get my chat out. Man, good to be back another day. What is today? Is it hump day yet? Finally, it's hump day, man. Let's see here. All right, we got the regular folks in. Good to see you guys. Gonna do a analysis for you. So we had our short scalp play out. We actually were bearish up at these levels, guys. Look what happened. Look what happened, man. So I guess we had a basic strategy short play out here on our 65-minute time frame. You see the anchor and the trigger wave. You see the rejection off the key level, and you have already reached the first point. This yellow line would have been the first point to at least cover your fees in that. Potentially letting that ride, maybe down to the poop line, perhaps even back down to the year-to-date anchor. So that's where we're at right now. Bitcoin running into resistance at the Q2 anchor as expected, and it's just simply going to be a fight. It reminds me very much of where the NickCipher community was back here. There was a trading competition right on this day, and this year-to-date anchor, or the Q1 anchor, posed a serious threat for the Bitcoin price, and this was actually a level where we had to range and consolidate for quite a while, and basically it made you bored and not even care about Bitcoin until the point of breakout. Finally, we overcame that Q1 anchor and we got that continuation. But this is the power of a quarterly anchor, guys. When you slam up against this after it's confirmed as resistance, it's going to be a fight to get out. And so I anticipated something similar with this April anchor. This red anchor here, even though it's small, it's only been around for a couple of weeks, it is a very important volume weighted sentiment to keep an eye on. And so there's just simply no reason to doubt its legitimacy. So yeah, like I was anticipating a nice short scalp from this level, and it did play out. Let's see, the 65 minutes showed it. It looks like the other time frames, the 30-minute, you got that reduction in the blue waves right there. The 10-minute, kind of all over the place, but I mean, you do see the overall money flow downtrending down. Yeah, the 10-minute was kind of all over the place, not gonna lie, but the 65-minute did a good job of giving you that solid anchor trigger setup. I got my coffee and my creatine. I hope you guys are doing good, up or down. Hope you guys are making it a good day, prioritizing your health and your family and relationships, and doing what you got to do. Staying disciplined. I did a little tweet today. I had this thought, like, there is no discipline without duty, right? You can't be a disciplined person unless there's something bigger than yourself that you're working on. It has to be like, I mean, think about it. If you're like a champion athlete, you have to do what you do for your team, you know? Or if you're a soldier, you have to do what you do for your country. A lot of people who are in shape, a lot of people who are successful, just got that way by simply serving a greater cause than just themselves. And I think most people are not selfish people. Most people are men and women for other people. And so if you can somehow align your empathy towards something greater than yourself, and just kind of stack everything in one direction, you achieve success simply by being a man for others. Like, by thinking selfishly, I was never able to achieve discipline, but by doing push-ups for Bitcoin and for the NickCipher community, it's like magically I can wake up and do the same thing every day and put in the work, because it's out of love of something bigger than me. You know what I'm saying? So that's how that was what was running through my mind today, is how I just achieved discipline through a sense of duty. You know what I'm saying? So make sure that you guys are serving. It comes with like just gratitude, right? Like recognizing like where you came from. There's like, you're basically the product of tens of thousands of years of human struggle and turmoil and toiling. And so, you know, do good by your bloodline, do good by your family, not just the descendants that you never met, but also just the people who made you in your current life. There's probably angels in your life that believe in you no matter what, that you may have been taken for granted. I'm just speaking from my own personal experience. There was, you know, look at you guys, the NickCipher community. Like, where was I the last couple years, right? My eyes had to open to the world that was already there before me. But once you open your eyes to the people, the places, and the things that make you who you are, and you align your work in that direction, then all of a sudden discipline just kind of clicks on, and it's an automatic thing. So here I am doing my weekday analyses and keeping up on my push-ups, and it just feels natural. It doesn't feel like work. So yeah, I credit that to you guys. So thanks for tuning in. We look at the crypto bubbles here. Let's see here. A couple, I mean, honestly, it's a bad day for crypto. Look, I mean, this is a really bad day for crypto. Super red. Let's look at the S&P. As we can see on the S&P did kind of run into a little bit of trouble here. We got a red candle, had some correction after we came up over the year-to-date anchor here. Got a gap here with the candle bodies. I don't know if maybe we have to explore down back on that anchor with the S&P before we can come back up to the quarterly anchor. It is possible. So the S&P hit a bit of a snag, as did the NASDAQ, as the NASDAQ actually rejected off of its year-to-date, you know, on like the short term here, running into issues on its year-to-date. So it makes sense that Bitcoin is having issues with hitting its Q2 sentiment. It's almost like Bitcoin is like a lap ahead. Like we already dealt with our year-to-date anchor. We're up here at the Q2 anchor trying to come over that, whereas the traditional markets are struggling just with keeping their year-to-date. So Bitcoin seems to be, just from like an anchored VWAP standpoint, one step ahead. Just an observation. Let's see. ETH BTC actually climbing up. You guys see what I'm seeing here on ETH BTC? We're seeing the money flow trending up. Look at the 1, 2, 3 on the 1 hour with the money flow. If we can get some bodies, over that anchor, perhaps a daily candle body, I believe it's possible that we may be entering another alt season. Potentially ETH. I would love to see ETH finally start making its run up to these other more recent, or sorry, longer term, I should say, quarterly anchors. That would be great for Ethereum. Sol BTC, on the other hand, seems to be hitting some resistance off this larger bear div going on with Sol BTC. But it doesn't look to, it is holding some support, like rising support here, so nothing too crazy concerning yet. It's just, I'm noticing that Sol BTC is hitting some resistance, whereas ETH BTC is at least trying to overcome its Q2 here. I don't know. Still got to watch it, but it is metastasizing as expected. So we're going to keep watching, seeing if we can call that altcoin season. I saw a couple YouTubers like BitBoy was like calling a new alt season already. I guess we all have our different ways of calling alt seasons, but I believe if ETH BTC can get over its Q2, then I guess that would be an alt season from my perspective. Cassius Cuvée, man, good to see you, man. Let me give you a little wrench, bro. Let me give you the wrench, my boy. I love when you post the profits, man. And good calls on NickCipher. You're just a good example of someone who's got talents in so many different areas, Cassius. And so obviously you pick up a tool like MC and you're just, you know, it's that obsession, that creative obsession, and you've really come a long way in a short period of time, man. Like, I've seen those profits. And so yeah, I can tell you're just a passionate individual, man. That's what it takes to get into this stuff, is you got to have that passion to learn. And so I appreciate it, man. So I gave you a wrench. So congrats on the wrench, bro. Hopefully you keep cranking. So I was looking at Deck Screener. I'm new to this tool. I want to put out a YouTube tutorial on it, which means that I gotta do my research on looking up all these chains and like, I love this TradingView integration. They actually allow you to do anchored VWAPs. I believe I'm looking at Dick with Butt right now. This is my new favorite coin, guys. Dick with Butt, bringing back the old school 2006 Dick Butt beam. No founders allocation, no pre-sale, no tax, just Dick Butt. This is the future finance that I've been looking for, guys. It's on Pulse Chain. It's on the crappy Pulse Chain that everyone likes to FUD. But people seem to be, the sentiment in the crypto community seems to be like, we're kind of frothing at the mouth for whatever the next narrative may be. So like the hope in regards to Pulse Chain, like, it seems to have like gone up a little bit. Like, you see BitBoys like willing to talk about it now, and like the community is kind of softening up to this chain, because like so many other chains have disappointed us as well, right? But either way, Dick with Butt is like the funniest thing on this chain, in my opinion. He's like a little dick with a butt, and it's just, I mean, come on, man. Like, it makes me laugh every time I see it. I did a quarterly analysis on it. Actually, sorry, you can't do a quarterly analysis. Look, if I do 3 month, you can't do that. So I actually did a weekly analysis, and I put some anchors on the last 3 weeks. And when I look at Dick with Butt, it seems to be tapping down on just the weekly anchor. So if you see some structural support, some green candles on this anchor, that would be a good indication, because a couple people in my community have been saying that they're investing in this thing. So I actually feel called to do some analysis on it at this point. But yeah, I mean, we actually are at a weekly anchor. There's no indication that this has to hold. But if you do see some candle body strength at this weekly anchor, since it is such a baby coin, every move matters, right? And so if you get some structure on this weekly anchor, that would continue to the upside. That being said, if we fail on that, you would slice potentially all the way down to these weeks before. So you're looking at a 20% correction down to a couple of the previous week's anchors. But you know, I would say that you would just have to wait for some structure on the weekly anchor there on that. Yeah, let's look at H-bar. So I actually did pick up, I had no Hedera at all, and it is like an older project, you know, but they had some good things coming out for them recently, which led to this big price spike. I was really happy to see the pullback. Like, I was not going to buy that top, but like last evening I saw this like major pullback of over 30 something percent. And so I said, you know what, since we're at this like these previous levels, and I want some of this like for long term, I did a little swap. I traded some Litecoin for some Hedera. So yeah, so I now own some H-bar, and I got some at these lower prices. I didn't buy any at the top, which seems funny that if you bought the top, that would have sucked, right? Like, obviously, off a major news catalyst, there's going to be people selling into that. Like, you don't want to just FOMO into a news catalyst, because that's precisely the time where a long-term holder would look to sell to you. So you might be like you'll try to buy some news catalyst, and like the order fills immediately. You're like, what the heck? Like, you almost second guess how fat the order fills so quick, because there's so many people selling to you and there's so much liquidity that like it feels a little suspicious. You know what I mean? What's up, Satoshi Nakamoto? I'm an H barbarian now, man. I don't. It's cool that they have their little mascot. You know, that's cool. They have a little community. It's cute. It's cute. I'm not attached to any shitcoin. I'm attached to Bitcoin. I'm a mini Michael Saylor, bro. Like, if H-bar pumps substantially, I'll probably be looking to rotate that out. Not gonna lie, over the next couple months, because I learned my lesson investing in shitcoins, man. Put a bunch of Verge. I said I believe in Verge. That was like my biggest investing mistake of my life, was like buying a shitcoin and like legitimately holding it, thinking that it's the future. when the only coin that's guaranteed a future is Bitcoin. Opinion on Gala. Going right into the shit coins here, right into the shit coins right off the bat. Let's get it. Let's get it. We'll do a quick quarterly analysis on the Gala. Gala, obviously, you can see it rejecting off of that Q2 anchor. Potential finding support on the year to date. If it fails at the year to date, you're looking at Q4 of next year all the way down here at looks like 3.5 cents, but we could potentially hold here at 4.5 cents at the year-to-date anchor. I just don't really, I feel like the Q2 anchor holds more precedence, so we just got a short off that. The short off the Q2 is more sure than a long off of the year-to-date at this point. We'd have to see some structure going on in the other direction before we have any kind of faith in the year-to-date. So yeah, it's kind of doing what Bitcoin's doing, bro. It's rejecting off the Q2. It is nice that it looks like Bitcoin's chart. You know, it's not like underperforming from a chart perspective. It looks very similar to Bitcoin. Is there any evidence of a bounce on Gala on the hourly? Let's see. If anything, man, this does, although the RSIs are nice and oversold, they haven't come over 12 yet. Still a lot of that stacked up divergence still playing out. Haven't gotten the anchor and trigger, so there's nothing surefire telling me right now that Gala's gonna bounce off here quite yet. Cassius QV says Gala was my best trade ever. Sold 80% of that one near the top, but then put all the profits into another shitcoin that tanked. yeah, you got to be careful rotating, man. You got to be careful with those rotations. But as long as you base the rotations off of the BTC pairings and the ETH pairings, like if ETH is trending on Bitcoin, then you can rotate into good shit coins that are trending on ETH. But if ETH isn't trending on Bitcoin, then you want to be rotating into shit coins trending on Bitcoin. You know, I'm all tongue twisted and shit, but you get the idea. But yeah, man, I'm gonna get better at reading this deck screener, because not only does it allow me to do my anchored VWAP analysis on a plethora of shit coins, but it just is the greatest tool for analyzing a lot of these shitcoin charts, man. The meme coin hunting is something I gotta get like way better at, man. Way better at. Like going on the Solana chain here on deck screener and looking up like what's pumping, what's not. There's 5x's and 10x's and shit that I've been missing out on, just because I'm old school like that, you know. But if I can do a quarterly VWAP analysis on you know, waffles or some shit, you know, I gotta do that. Like, look, I can come on here on deck screener, click anchored VWAP, and let's see, can I do a, you can't even do like quarterly analyses on most of these coins. You're pretty much stuck to like weekly VWAP analysis, which is all good. Yeah, some of these coins got like nothing, they got nothing going for them, man. You're basically not even doing analysis. You're kind of just putting like 5 to 10% of your bag into lottery shit. It's basically like lottery. Can you look at Velo? I don't know what Velo is, but is Velo, let's see if I can find it on TradingView, or if I'll have to go on the deck screener. Let's see, I got it on Qcoin here. Looking a bit bearish divergent on the hourly, bro. Not going to lie. Not going to lie. Ooh, that's a bad 3-month chart. Although it's, I mean, on the macro, from the last quarter, it's actually been doing pretty good. Let's take a peek here at the last 3 quarters, see how this uptrend is doing. Ooh, okay. So it's, I mean, it's looking bearish divergent, but it is actually superseding its Q2 Wait, this is actually a very powerful coin right now, man. It's pumping over its Q2 anchor, and it's one of the few cryptos with ascending VWAPs. This is actually a good find, bro. It is looking a little bearish divergent, but your daily money flow is coming up. That weekly money flow hasn't even really gotten started. I need to look more into this project. Vooch says, what size monitor do I have? I have like the gigantic, like, I can't even remember what size it is, man, but I posted pictures of it on like my Instagram, and it's freaking massive, bro. Like, I have to crop my YouTube screen just to like have the YouTube video not look all wonky and chopped up. So like I have like what you guys see, and then a good 1/3 of the monitor is like all my tools and the chat and like the OBS software and everything. So it's like I have 2 monitors in one monitor. It makes streaming honestly a nightmare. Like, I should have like another PC device off to the side running shit, but yeah, just been, I mean, it's really great for gaming. Like, CF, the crypto face, loves gaming. So like whenever I'm playing games with my bro, I just have like the ultimate gaming experience, and like it's great for watching movies and yeah. So people have been talking about some bearish signs on BTC on the big time frame. So as you guys know, structurally speaking, we are in a massive bull flag here, and so it's hard to flip overall macro giganto bearish on this until this pattern fails, right? But looking at the waves, we don't really have any backup. Like on the monthly, even though it is over the 60 line, it does look pinched, like there's something rolling through, and our yellow oscillator is squeezing toward the 0 line, so not very promising. If we look at the 2-week, we got the red dot and the yellow oscillator aiming down on us despite that high momentum, so we're waiting for the angels to rescue us there. On the weekly, we're on the cusp of losing the weekly, which is a sign that's gotten me out completely of bull markets in the past, right before major corrections. And so the weekly is something I'm really watching. Like, if we lose this weekly, I've disengaged from the tops of the Bitcoin market in the past off of just the simple fact of this blue wave losing that little line there at the 60. So man, I'm gonna have to do some real soul searching if we lose that 60 line, man, because that's like the last string of hope, man. We're hanging on by a thread at this point. And so when we look at the daily, you know, since we don't have that larger time frame backup, we just got this gnarly close, and if we close anywhere, if today this new daily candle closes basically below the FG push-up line anywhere from the yellow line down to the year to date, whatever happens today, if we don't close higher than the FG push-up line at like, we need to get above 64,700 like stat. Like, today needs to be a good day, because this red dot, there's no time frames above the daily that really have our back on this shit. So we have this like kind of bearish, this is kind of bearish, bro. And looking at the daily, we really haven't gotten the good RSI. Look how these RSIs are still gaped. They haven't really scooped down and given us like the solid buying opportunity that we would hope for. And just to give you an example, you know, after the ETF dump, we at least got the purple RSI to go under. See how we went under 12 and then crossed over? So we didn't get both the RSIs to tighten up and then both cross over 12 together, but we did at least get the purple RSI to get oversold and then overcome that oversold status. So that is, in my opinion, is a good RSI bottom. And then that coincided with our yellow oscillator trending up. It coincided with a I guess kind of this like larger hidden bull div. You guys see this like larger hidden div that transcends the 0 line on our blue waves, but you can see how as the price continued to overall uptrend, the blue momentum waves got more and more tired. The bears got more and more tired. So you had that hidden bullish divergence going on there. You had the RSI nice and low, and you had the yellow oscillator crossing up. And so that's the kind of thing that we probably want to be patient and wait for for Bitcoin to get a sizable bounce. As of right now, we're getting the yellow oscillator crossing down. RSIs still have not given us that solid long opportunity. And even though the blue waves are looking nice, like we are in a momentum desert down here where you would think that a nice deep blue wave like this would be a really good opportunity. And it definitely has been to an extent. But yeah, it just seems like some other indications, like look at this money flow trending down on the overall. And then look at this overall structure here. Like that has not been, we haven't really contended with that at all. So there's a case for more dredging out, more time being spent building a case, perhaps getting people, I don't know, just washing people out. It's just a washing machine, man. It's a big rock tumbler. The more they can grind you out and get you bored. This is why I love the push-up challenge, because every day I'm like wearing orange, reminding myself that I believe in Bitcoin, you know? Because like when I don't know, the old me would kind of ebb and flow. Like I would allow sentiment to kind of get at me, and like if I got bored of Bitcoin, which Bitcoin has gotten more boring than it was in previous years, in my opinion. Maybe I'm just getting older, but having like daily ritual in regards to Bitcoin and like looking at that daily close every day keeps me, and also doing these streams like every weekday keeps me in the mode of looking at the charts every day and not getting lazy or rock tumbled out or grinded out of the market. So I would recommend that you guys just keep staying plugged in, because like that's what they want. They want you to get tired and jaded, and yeah, it's not going to move until most of the market participants get to that point. Popsicle says BTC 4-day starting to look really bullish. I don't have the 4-day activated, but let's take a look, man. I do like how this actually is a nice time frame, man. I do like how, you know, we haven't gotten a green dot yet on the blue wave, but you do have the yellow oscillator chipping toward the upside. RSI is looking to regain some strength on that 4-day. So I do see that, Popsicle. I do see that. And the day is young. Like we just got the daily candle close. Just know that if today is a shitter day, then we're going to get a daily red dot. Let's check Market Cipher A real quick. See what our symbols are looking like on the daily. Any bad signs? So we did get that blood diamond up here, which kind of kick-started just our plunge into the doldrums, our plunge into the gulag, basically accepting that Q2 is going to be a fight. It's going to be a roller coaster. That was that blood diamond up here. Haven't gotten like another blood diamond or anything too concerning as of yet on the daily. But you can definitely see that like on these middle time frames, like the planning stage time frames, you see how the Market Cipher A ribbon is turning gray again. So things are in the bears' court. Like the bears are getting a pitch here. I mean, this short scalp off of the quarterly anchor could be gnarly. It could be sizable. It could plunge us back down to the year to date, which ideally would give us some bullish divergence and a case to assault the quarterly anchor once again. And we would see a kind of like consolidation pattern around the quarterly anchor, similar to what we got back here. See this kind of ascending triangle where Bitcoin smashed up against Q1's anchor and just had to keep building a case for it. But also we could be, I don't know, it's a little bit different because here the ribbon was blue on the 8 hour, whereas I'm pretty sure here the ribbon is like gray. So yeah, similar but different kind of scenario. It's just, you guys can see how we came down, we tapped the previous quarter as support, and we do try to make a play up. So it's no guarantee, but like last quarter we saw the overcoming of that anchor, and so we would look for that same scenario here where, you know, we come down to the year to date, and then it's something like this. This is kind of where I'm leaning. is something like that, guys. Just an idea. That's kind of like what I'm thinking in my head, but yeah. Vooch says could be another sell in May, walk away. That would be funny, man. That would be funny. Yeah, it could be something that gets worse, and then we'd have to come back in like June or July, right? And then deal with that Biden FOMO, man. The Biden, that would actually springboard us pretty good into like the last 2 quarters of 2024 if we can just get the correction sooner than later, for sure. But also we got this major pattern. This is this sticker for me, is we got like a pretty large bull flag here. Makes me think that this actually could just go up until this pattern fails. Yeah. AK says, bro, check DMTR. I don't even know what DMTR is, man. What is that, man? Dimitra. Okay, okay. Is it on TradingView? You trading this on Mexi, bro, or were you trading this? What am I looking at, bro? This is a crazy one. I personally don't like death wicks like this, bro. Seems like a dangerous coin to trade. But let me see. You got in at 0.32, 0.032. Am I looking at the right price? Because this price chart doesn't like match what you said. Not showing much strength, even over its weekly anchors, bro. Yeah, it's not showing much strength, bro. I don't even know if I'm looking at the right chart, but yeah, man. You could have a winner here, but what I see here on the daily is like the yellow oscillator crossing down, not showing strength over VWAPs. Seems actually guilty until proven innocent, unless I'm looking at the wrong chart. But let's see. I wanted to look more at the S&P 500, just to see like what's going on here on these planning stage time frames. Like, is there a case that we could come all the way back up to the Q2 anchor, or do we have to come back down to the year to date? Also, you know, I played this video at the start, guys, because I want you guys tonight to just say a little prayer, like for your families and for these people who are struggling in cities like Kensington, people out there struggling with addiction, stuck in their own gulag, under their own anchored VWAP sentiment, and Q2 is obviously a very bad quarter for a lot of people out there. They don't have the luxury of being able to sit in an air-conditioned home and drink coffee and look at markets. And so always remember like how good we have it, and do something for the community, do something for others, and at least say a little prayer for these people, because there's a lot of people struggling out there, man. And when I go on my hikes on my mountain, like sometimes I go straight to the top, but if I go all the way around, I see homeless encampments and stuff, and like I always feel really bad for those people. Not that I ever want to like film them and expose them and put their face on camera, but I think it's important that we see this stuff, man, because this is the life that our leaders are content with us living in. You guys can't forget that the people in charge allow this to happen, and this could be you. If that guy right there was you, just remember that, like, no one would care about you. This is the world that we're in. Like, no one cares about you, man. And so count your blessings. And these people are, God is with these people. Like, I get that they may seem dirty or cursed or whatever, but these, like, they just need a simple dusting off. You know, they need renewal. They don't need rebirth. You know, a lot of us, like, our egos got to our head in these markets, and like, you know, a big part of you has to die, and a better version of you needs to come forth. So some of us need rebirth, but some people out there just need a little dusting off. And I feel like a lot of these people, if they just got the help that they needed, these are some of the kindest souls out there, man. They really don't deserve this shit. Yeah. So just keep that in mind, man. The freaking world that we're in. And it's sick how the markets pump off of human suffering. You got wars and shit out there, and we all just have to keep investing in the markets because, oh, it's just going to keep going up, man. Markets love, I guess markets love destruction and suffering, because you see the suffering, but it's not the end of the world, right? So then, okay, now we have to be optimistic again, and markets reward optimism. But it can be demoralizing maintaining optimism in the face of such evil, you know. It is important to remain optimistic, but also be grounded in reality. But yeah, when we look at the S&P, just, I'm seeing a lot of hidden bear div. Like, you can see how, like, these waves got tired out, but the price is nowhere near as high. The price came way down. So we got a lot of downward pressure on the S&P. If I look at the 4 hour, the RSI's got slammed down, man, and they did tighten up. Actually got a nice oversold reading on the 4 hour here. Money flow still kind of trending down. I guess there's not really much to, dude, I don't really know, man. I guess we'd have to go into a smaller time frame. Potentially a bearish anchor trigger here on the 30-minute. You see the anchor, and then we see what could be a little trigger wave here. You see the RSI's losing the 92 level. So just a potential short scalp down. Yeah, here we go. On the 15-minute chart, we see a more convincing bearish anchor trigger here, where we lost the RSI, you see the anchor, and then you see the trigger waves, money flow trending down. So just like some short time frame turbulence here on the S&P. And when we look at Bitcoin on this same time frame, see there's some hidden bearish divergence. Like, see how, like, the waves come up here, and the price is, like, way lower. That's crazy. That's a crazy hidden bear div right there. If we did somehow overcome the FG push-up line at like 64,745-ish, we could actually make a play back up, and we would see a bullish anchor trigger. You see this bullish anchor trigger? We got the anchors down here. It's potential, if we could get the money flow coming up, that all these things combined, like the RSI is dredging out like this, the anchor wave, if we can get that money flow trending up and a solid trigger wave, we could actually come back up and we could get a bullish day. That being said, if we had to slip from this level, I would probably find some medium-term support at the poop line down at like 62,300. That's a very likely, like, higher low that we could form. But also in the cards is a divergent price going lower but waves trending up type of, like, double bottom kind of thing, where we could go back down to the year to date as well. It is a nice safe place to accumulate some good value Bitcoin. So we could end up having to go down there, But my inclination is telling me that we get a higher low and we continue to batter the Q2 sentiment in a more like healthy way, as opposed to getting a gigantic swing / rolling over back down to the year to date. I actually feel like we should hold at a higher low. It does kind of seem like we might get like a 4-hour trigger wave here. On the 2-hour, we see what looks like a hidden bull div on the 2-hour. So we got a really nice deep 2-hour wave. That being said, we're at a higher low. So you can see that the momentum trended down and got tired out really quick. But the price has actually held a pretty firm level here. So we've got an anchor, a trigger to this. Like if we got some ebbing and flowing, potentially a lower price down to the poop line, but the oscillators are trending up on the 2-hour, that would be a good sign that we would come back up to the quarter 2 anchor here. So look for this 2-hour anchor wave to be the start of something hopeful. Perhaps like we get some move to the up, and then we get a trigger wave that kind of scoops down again, and that could coincide with some slightly lower prices, but overall it would look like a bullish setup by the time we get to tomorrow. That's kind of where I'm at now. But yeah, right now you got that short scalp playing out. So hopefully you guys took some profits on that already. Cover your fees, cover your downside. I wouldn't really like adjust your stop, but you could exit enough to make it like where if you lose that trade, you don't lose any money, or at least the fees are covered. But yeah, it's like that short scalp was playing out that we talked about on yesterday's stream. Anthony T says he's got a huge community living in the gulag around him where he lives. I think about them every day. I want to do more for this problem, but don't know what to do. Man, you know, I think that service, doing things for others, gives you that certain feeling in your heart that like it makes you feel content when you really are doing things for the people in your community, and you know they're struggling, and if you put the effort in, you could alleviate that, but you're not doing it. That's a sense of duty. That means, first of all, you're a good person because you have a sense of duty, like you have to do something, right? You're called to action. That was kind of me with the Market Cipher community. Like I eventually realized that a lot of what I was feeling was that like I wasn't present as much as I knew I should be for you guys, you know. But you could apply that to your physical space around you as well. If there's bad things going on in your neighborhood, then man up and do something about it, you know. Either find an organization or some action yourself. Yeah, man, I would encourage you to act upon those feelings, and just do something small, man. Even if you helped one person. Gary Gorski says, just to be clear, BTC Blood Diamond on the Heiken Ashi daily. Let's take a peek, man. So we're going to go to the daily on BTC. Going to look at the Heiken Ashi, which, yeah, BTC did have a good couple Heiken Ashi green days. Now we're red again. We apply Market Cipher A. Ooh, okay, yeah. So if this candle does close like this, you got that Blood Diamond. You got a Blood Diamond on that. Definitely, a one-day Blood Diamond is pretty concerning. I guess we could go back in the past and see. First of all, it seems quite rare. But you got one here, which didn't necessarily call for lower, but it definitely put a halt on the pumps for quite a while, right? For over a week. It marked just the dredging out on the seafloor, right? Let's see if we got any other ones in the past. It's a very rare indication, bro. It does not happen that often. Very rare. Here we go. We got some further continuation down here. Same as here as well. So yeah, it always leads to like a stalling out or down. this one right here, interestingly enough, we got a pump after that. So all the blood diamond is, guys, is it's just when the red X and the red diamond propagate at the same time, we turn that into one mega indication. You can see like underneath the blood diamond is, you can see those little symbols there overlapping. So there is an element of chance to the blood diamond, but we just noticed that when both of these indicators fire off, it usually does lead to at least a halt to the pumps. But yeah. Possible long scalp on the 30-minute. Let's take a peek. You know, I really like, you know, this trigger wave is like so small and also attached to the same wave. I think it's likely that this is kind of, honestly, like it could be nothing, but we do see some other signs of like a long scalp that we would like to see, such as the RSIs coming over 12. You got that going for you. You got the yellow oscillator crossing over 0. You got that going for you. And the money flow does appear to be trying to trend up, although it's not rounded. It's not like a nice, beautiful, you know, rounding, kind of symmetrical hemisphere type shape. It's kind of a more like jagged, like boop, going up. So that suggests to me that maybe we need more ebbing and flowing and like a more convincing trigger wave that's a part of a separate wave. But I like that the RSI is nice and oversold for you, man, and the yellow oscillator is looking good. Typically, I've noticed that with these yellow X's, they tend to get filled. Like if we go in the past, guys, let me look up some previous yellow X's. So like when you see a yellow X, it typically leads to more downside, but somewhere along the line, the price pumps back up and like you fill it. It's almost like it's almost like a vector candle. It's like whale shenanigans, which kind of fits CF's description of this oscillator that he's used in the past. Is like, it's like whales setting like low limit orders and then eventually pumping the market up and filling. Like you could see, you get the yellow X's and they do lead to downside, but then we pump up and eat that shit up. So I love the yellow X's for not only like isolating when there's some whale shenanigans going on, but it's kind of an indication that we're gonna fill it, almost like you would fill like a gap fill, right? And so we're getting a little bit of that here. It's a potential that we could, actually I think it's highly in the cards that we come back up to the FG push-up line, in which case things may look better. You may get a run back up to the year to date from this point. But if we did have to go lower, I would expect us to come down to the poop line. So these are my key levels that I'm trusting. Hopefully I'm not all over the place to you guys, and at least you like my levels, man. You know, sometimes I don't know exactly what's gonna happen. Like yesterday, I was pretty certain of the short scalp, right? At a level like this, I'm a little more uncertain because we're kind of just sandwiched in between all these warring sentiments. So it's definitely scalp. I could tell you that it's not swing time, it's scalp time. I can tell you that. And I can give you some good key levels, but it's kind of up to you to form your own ideas at this point on this day. And hopefully tomorrow and the next day I'll have like a more convincing opinion. As of right now, it does seem like the short scalp is playing out. But yeah, man, you see some things bubbling up. The only problem is we could just simply reject off the push-up line and this doesn't play out too hard. If I look at the intraday VWAP, we'll pull that out. You want to see, if you're going to be longing this, you want to see some trending over the VWAP, the intraday VWAP, backed up by that good wave reading. So I would say that if we can get some closes over the intraday, which we're not getting right now as of yet, we got a little bit of like the idea that we do want to come over the intraday today. The VWAP reset, bulls were given a little bit of a shot, but then they blew it. But maybe that is a clue that they do want to take this up. Just let the intraday VWAP guide you if you're going to scalp this. If you can get some closes over that intraday, the volume does swing in the bull's favor. You got a much higher chance of some upside. But obviously, guys, if we slip below the intraday, it could get dastardly. You could dump down to the poop line rather quickly if you see some candle closes under the intraday, and you get you get these bodies under the intraday, and you get further downside because the volume swings in the bear's favor. So I guess the white line, the SR VWAP, is like the best flashlight I can offer you in terms of like what's going to happen like right now. Right now we're under it, but it does seem to be reclaiming it. You could get a little run up to the FG push-up line. Undefeated 0-0 says 2-week bear div confirmed. The daily looks horrific. I think you're talking about like just this macro overall, like the larger, you know, like the higher price from like last bull market to this bull market, whereas the wave is not as high. I would caution you to be a little careful about this. I know Geo has been mentioning this a lot, but if you look at previous runs, such as look what happened over here, is like when you have blue waves over the 60 line, you're at market extremes. You have runaway train mode enabled even when you get a red dot on the 2-week, and there is like a major correction on that 2-week scale. Like you get these big corrections in here, and like there's many points where like this was bearish divergence, this was bearish divergence, or sorry, it's once you get higher up. So like basically where we're at here in the bull run potentially is like right here, bro, where you know the like the price is higher, right? Like look back here, is like the price was higher, the waves were trending down, but was that the end of the bull run? No. And I think that the reason why it wasn't the end from a market cipher B standpoint is because we're over the 60 line, and it's just you simply can't count the bull market over when it's in that when it's achieved that level of market momentum. It's a momentum play. The difference between a momentum play and a regular trade is like you're kind of in ape mode. It's kind of stupid. It's kind of just ignoring warning signs and just continuing up. So be a little weary about those massive like cross bull market divergences, especially when the blue waves are so high above the 60 line. So when I look at this scenario here, you know, where you're drawing a gigantic bear div from like the last bull cycle to this one, you're definitely onto something in terms of like a medium term or maybe like a multi-week or multi-month correction perhaps, but in the grand scheme of things, you're actually not looking at anything that substantial because we're just over the 60 line. This could easily just turn back up and just you get a counter green dot basically, and then oh never mind, you know. So yeah, just take it with a grain of salt. You know, there's definitely something rolling through. There's a storm rolling through, but is it the end of everybody? Is it doomsday? Well, actually likely not until we lose the 60 line. AK says the S&P 500 hit the monthly VWAP and got rejected. Let's take a look. Let me go standard candles again. In fact, let's do a monthly analysis of our S&P, because I've been doing quarterly analysis, but I'm down to do a quick monthly analysis. So we go to the monthly chart, you grab your anchor tool, and you slap them on like the last 3 or 4 months, and we take a look here. I'd say 4 months, that way you get from the start of the year to current. And yeah, you can definitely see what's going on here. Not only are all of our monthly VWAPs, they've gone sideways, right? And so this implies ranging. It implies even if we were to come up to like the top of these, we likely would have to come back down, and we're in something like this is going on, right? It's something like that is happening, and that's evidenced by the sidewaysness of these anchors. You got something like this going on, and the reason why we're getting that downward pressure is because quarter two, or not quarter two in this case, since this is a monthly analysis, but it is the anchor from April, which, like, certain monthly anchors are more important than others. Like January is not just January, right? It's Q1 and it's the year to date. April is not just April, it's Q2. And so certain months are more impactful than others. April is a very impactful month, and it's rolling through. We're getting shorts out the wazoo off that April anchor, man. So we're not out of the woods yet. I would say that the February anchor, not as substantial. It truly is like just a monthly anchor. It's not like a year-to-date or a quarterly scale month to look at. But we are seeing some planning time frame sized, like, rejection, like, action going on, like, at that February anchor. But we're not getting a rejection off of, I'm looking at the S&P right now, man, and we're not getting a rejection off the current monthly anchor. Not yet. That's way up here at 5,122. We're getting a rejection, a soft rejection off of the February anchor. And so, yeah. Kamayu says, do I have any recommended times of day that you find it best to trade BTC? You know, objectively speaking, like, there's more liquidity. It's easier for your orders to fill around the traditional markets. Like, if you trade like you're trading the stock market, you'll get more liquidity. Lately, there has been like a lot more moves late at night, but that comes with a cost of like your circadian rhythm and like all sorts of stuff. So I'd say overall, the best time to trade would be the traditional market times, likely because like that coincides a lot with like the final like 1/3 of the daily candle as well, mostly. And a lot of the action happens in like the last third of the day. Kind of like how when you have a triangle pattern, the breakout occurs somewhere in the last 30% of the triangle. It's like that with your intraday. If when you take each day by day, you kind of have like a daily pattern, right? And so like you get the VWAP reset, and no one really knows like what today is going to look like, right? It's not until like the last third of this daily candle that like the pattern for the day is established, and that last like big move of the day can often be like a freebie opportunity. Sometimes you can draw like projections and kind of guess the daily pattern ahead of time. Like, let me see if I could do it right now. So for instance, on this last day, we had a couple pings of resistance and support, and so you could find like the candle low of the day. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, I mean, like, so what you could do is like you get the daily reset, and when you log in the morning and you look at the charts, try to connect some lows and highs, like point A, B, C, D, right? And you kind of create this like pattern, and you can trade around whatever pattern's going on. So you see like a rejection, like off this like kind of like upward trumpet. You see us rejecting out of that, and then you see us losing the VWAP, and we even come up and retest that as resistance before failing under VWAP again, and then we continue much lower. And so this is like something that I've used to scalp the intraday in the past. Is like, it's kind of like these weird intraday patterns where if you just like draw like 1, 2, 3, 4, right? In the last like third of the day, like around there, like you'll catch the move out of that pattern. And it's like these wonky patterns that you can trade around that don't really look like most patterns. Usually it's like some sort of like sloped up weird looking trumpet pattern or something, but it's just the pattern of the day. It's like it comes and goes. Here's another one. You see, like, this is a super wonky one. You connect these two bottoms, and then like you connect this top to that top, and you get this like almost like this inclination, like something volatile is gonna happen, right? And look, once you come over the intraday VWAP, you're like, damn, is this gonna pump up to the top of this like gigantic, oversized, like stupid looking trumpet? It's like a Venus flytrap, like Dumbo trumpet, you know? And we do pump up. It almost like looks like it wants to go parabolic and like get up there. Obviously it fails, but it can kind of give you a clue as to like what's going to happen in the day if like just off that first initial bit of price action. And so by the time you get to like the last like half of the day, you've got like enough information to usually make a play when you wake up and trade on those traditional stock market hours. Turbo Daddy says, check H bar again, just added to my short, support at the DBSI. Let's look at H bar. I scooped up a little Hedera since we had a good like 30% correction. It looks to me though that like on the intraday here, it's continuing under the VWAP. Look at this continuation here where on this 15-minute chart, you get the rising wave, but look at the price action not reciprocating. So that was an indication of further downside. These RSIs are really pushed down on that 15-minute. I think it's possible, Turbo, that Hedera just simply continues this kind of like linear uptrend channel, and that whole pump gets eaten up. So I think it's possible that like this simply dumps down all the way to this point, right? And then we do continue up in a slow, like normal fashion, but pretty much that entire FOMO, everything gets eaten up. So I think that you're actually probably in a good short, man. Selling the hype from Hedera. Maybe I'll buy a little more if it does come down to like 8 cents. I might buy a little more. I didn't buy that much Hedera, but I might buy some more because I did buy up here, so maybe I could get a better average price if I wait for this to like potentially dump all the way back down into that linear uprising channel. Yeah, I think that's it for today, guys. So what did we cover? We covered the BTC short. We talked about where it could go. We talked about the S&P 500, how it's slamming its head on some monthly anchor action. We talked about a couple altcoins. We talked about DEX Screener. We all got to get better at using DEX Screener. I'm gonna do more research on this, but what I love about this is you can do anchored VWAP analysis on DEX Screener. You can't have market Cipher, but you can at least put an anchored VWAP on your shit on this DEX Screener. So it's a really good tool for analyzing your mega shit coins. Yeah. Looking at ETH BTC, seeing if we can overcome the quarterly anchor and ETH can finally kickstart an altcoin season for us. Still keeping our eye on that. But that's pretty much it, guys. I'll be back tomorrow. Have a good rest of your hump day, good rest of your week, and God bless you guys. And thanks for tuning in.